Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Wednesday, November 26th, 2025, and this is your AM Update. The FBI launching an investigation into the 6 Democrat lawmakers behind a video urging military members to disobey illegal orders.
I hate the city. I hate the bachelorettes. I hate the pedal taverns. I hate country music.
A Democrat congressional candidate's race now in jeopardy as her wild past comments about how much she hates her city come to light. The title of World's Strongest Woman goes to a man.
Gobble.
Oh, there you go.
I just want to tell you this, very important. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
And President Trump offering full pardons to 2 lucky turkeys ahead of Thanksgiving. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. I've been talking a lot about Riverbend Ranch because I love their steaks. Well, this holiday season, express your love with a very special gift of premium steaks from Riverbend Ranch. They have spectacular beef bundles that are wonderful gifts to yourself, to your friends, to your family. Their prime rib roast and holiday bundles are only available while supplies last, and they are going fast. For the last 35 years, Riverbend Ranch has been creating an elite Angus herd by using ultrasound technology to identify genetically superior cattle with a focus on flavor and tenderness. All Riverbend Ranch cattle are born and raised in the USA. They never use growth hormones or antibiotics, and the beef is processed right at the ranch in their award-winning USDA-inspected processing facility. Avoid the costly middlemen because the beef is sent directly from Riverbend Ranch to your home. This is not your average Black Angus beef. Order from riverbendranch.com. Use the promo code Megyn for $20 off your first order. And let me know what you think. That's riverbendranch.com, promo code MEGYN. The FBI beginning the process of scheduling interviews with 6 Democrat lawmakers, dubbed by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth as the Seditious Six, over their involvement in a video posted to X urging military members to refuse hypothetical unlawful orders. The lawmakers, Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan, Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Congressman Chris DeLuzio and Chrissy Houlihan of Pennsylvania, Maggie Goodlander of New Hampshire, and Jason Crow of Colorado. Fox News reporting yesterday morning the FBI and DOJ have contacted Capitol Police to schedule the interviews. Further details about the investigation not yet clear. President Trump and other Republican critics accusing the lawmakers of deliberately sowing confusion within the ranks, potentially creating dangerous and destabilizing situations. The 6 lawmakers, meanwhile, say the president is weaponizing law enforcement against them, accusing Mr. Trump of, quote, using the FBI as a tool to intimidate and harass members of Congress. Senator Slotkin, a former CIA officer who spearheaded the video, speaking to reporters yesterday.
And then last night, the Counterterrorism Division at the FBI sent a note to the members of Congress saying they are opening what appears to be an inquiry against the 6 of us. To be honest, the president's reaction and the use of the FBI against us is exactly why we made the video. He believes in using the federal government against his perceived adversaries, and he's not afraid to use the arms of the government against people he disagrees with. He does not believe the law applies to him. He has said that every which way to Sunday, which is exactly why we made the video, to give people some assurance that they weren't alone as they watch this stuff unfold.
Other participants issuing similar written statements. Supporters of the group argue the video merely reinforces what is already required of service members regarding illegal orders. Of course, to date, none of the lawmakers has identified a single example of an illegal order issued by the president. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth accusing the 6 of injecting doubt into an already clear chain of command and of eroding cohesion. The Pentagon on Monday opening a separate investigation into Senator Mark Kelly under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for his role in the video, stating that it had received serious allegations of misconduct against him. Kelly, as a retired naval officer, still subject to the code. He could face disciplinary action, including potential court-martial proceedings. Senator Kelly responding on Rachel Maddow's MS Now show Monday night.
People listen to what he says more so than anybody else in the country, and he should be careful with his words. But I'm not going to be silenced here. Is it stressful? I've been stressed by, things more important than Donald Trump trying to intimidate me into shutting my mouth and not doing my job. He didn't like what I said. I'm going to show up for work every day, support the Constitution, do my job, hold this administration accountable, hold this president accountable when he is out of line. That's the responsibility of every U.S. senator and every member of Congress. He's not going to silence us.
The Department of War yesterday posting a photocopy of a referral of the complaint against Senator Kelly to the Secretary of the Navy, Secretary Hegseth, requesting a briefing on the outcome of the disciplinary review by December 10th. A special congressional election in Tennessee turning into a headache for Democrats as their candidate's own past comments come back to haunt her. Voters in Tennessee's 7th District heading for the polls on December 2nd next week in an election to replace Republican Congressman Mark Green, who resigned earlier this year to enter the private sector. The Republican candidate now, Matt Van Epps, a West Point graduate, decorated helicopter pilot, and lieutenant colonel in the Tennessee Army National Guard. The Democrat candidate, Afton Bain, current representative in the State House, described by President Trump as the AOC of Tennessee. The district, encompassing parts of Nashville, is solidly Republican, Congressman Green winning his last election by more than 20 points. Yet the race drawing lots of attention and cash as Democrats go all in for what the publication The Hill calls a final test of electoral strength ahead of the 2026 midterm season. Dems believing a loss by 10 points in such a solidly red district would count as a victory. In September, bettors on Polymarket predicting a 50-50 chance Bain would win. Those hopes crashing in recent days as a series of resurfaced comments by Bain threatened to tank her chances. In one 2020 podcast, Bain heard mocking the very place she hopes to represent on the national stage.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music. I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently, an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it.
In a 2023 interview, Bain referring to her home state as, quote, God-forsaken, Bain responding to the controversy last week on Instagram saying, "Don't believe your lying ears."
So I look a little rough. I have bags under my eyes because the Republican eye of Sauron has finally shifted towards moi. And I'm sure you've seen the commercials. I'm sure you've seen the onslaught of ads. And then today, the Republicans decided that they're going to start this narrative that me, the state representative who represents downtown Nashville, doesn't like the city. You're talking to someone who has cried no less than 10 times in the Country Music Hall of Fame. The girl that just goes to the Ryman to hang out. No, we're not even going to go there. We are so close to winning this race, which is why these rumors are getting more wild.
Bain left stammering during a mild interview on MS Now this past Sunday about deleted 2020 posts calling to defund the police.
You said in those since deleted tweets that the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department should be dissolved. Another cheered on a teachers union saying that defund the police should be a requirement for schools reopening. And another saying good morning, especially to the 54% of Americans that believe burning down a police station is justified. 2020 was obviously a very fraught year. Do you still stand by those comments? And if not, is there anything you want to clarify?
I'm not going to engage in cable news talking points, but what I will say is that, our communities need solutions. We need local people deciding, solving local problems with local solutions.
What is your position today? How's that on this issue?
I mean, I'm here to talk about my race, which is in literally 9 days.
And to complete the far-left trifecta, here a 2020 sampling of Bain's ideas on birthers.
We really have an opportunity here in this country to talk about what type of progressive policies we want to see as young women. And I think we have, as birther, as women who can give birth, men and women who can give birth, we could maybe leverage that as collective bargaining. We can really leverage collective bargaining when it comes to having children in this country. And so, for example, I'm not going to give birth until the United States government concedes ABCD. What do you think about that?
An October poll by Impact Research showing Van Epps leading Bain by 8 points, 52 to 44, much closer than expected. However, with the revelations of these comments and more from Bain, Polymarket betting odds now showing a 90% chance of victory for the GOP candidate. The election is set for this coming Tuesday. Coming up, drama at the official Strongman Games World Championship as the winner of the Strongest Woman contest is, in fact, a man. And not 2, but 4 lucky turkeys receive a presidential pardon. When customers are walking through the aisles of their local Walmart, they are not just picking up groceries or supplies, they are supporting American businesses and their communities. The real story is what's behind the label. With over 2/3 of the products Walmart buys made, grown, or assembled right here in the U.S., buying local is not just stocking shelves, it's about strengthening communities. Because of that commitment, Walmart invested $350 billion in U.S. manufacturing, helping American companies like Fisher and Weezer Specialty Foods, that's a local Texas business, expand their operations in Fredericksburg, Texas, to hire more people and bring their Texas-grown peach jam to a national market. Their story is just one example of how Walmart's U.S. manufacturing investment is supporting over 750,000 American jobs. Businesses across the country are empowered to sell more, hire more, and help their communities grow. From farms to factories to final shopping carts, learn how Walmart is fueling the future of U.S. manufacturing at walmart.com/America@work. Controversy rocking the official Strongman Games after a male pretending to be female was caught competing and winning in the women's division. Athletes from around the world meeting in Arlington, Texas over the weekend for the official Strongman Games World Championship. Jamie Booker of Philadelphia claiming first place in the women's open category, scoring 47 points overall. Great Britain's Andrea Thompson finishing second with 46 points. In a video posted to social media, the massive Booker seen towering over the rest of the competition, hoisting the first place trophy in the air as Thompson, the actual woman, appears to say, quote, "This is BS," while stepping off of the second place podium. Fox News reporting Booker had no competitive history prior to last June. A relative unknown in the sport, questions began swirling almost immediately. 2023 World's Strongest Man, Mitchell Hooper, describing on his YouTube channel what he witnessed on site.
The first time I saw Jamie, I said, this woman looks different. Little did I know, but she just looks different. She was probably 3 to 4 inches taller and probably 80 pounds heavier than her closest competitor. I would estimate at about 6'5" and 400 pounds. I'm 6'3" and about 330. She made me look very small, which I thought was really cool to see a woman of this stature. And to be honest, technically, she wasn't that good, but she was so strong.
3-time World's Strongest Woman, Rebecca Roberts, who withdrew this year due to injury, posting to Instagram after the event, quote, "What happened this weekend wasn't transparent. None of us knew. Not even the organizers knew. And when fairness is taken by surprise, trust in the sport begins to crack." The backlash intensifying with the resurfacing of a YouTube account believed to belong to Booker, describing his, quote, "trans identity."
Art and personal narratives have always been our greatest tools when it comes to shaping our culture. Everyone on Earth is dying to tell their own story, and I am obviously no exception to that. I'm a 21-year-old trans woman with a history of abuse, struggling to stay true to herself while under the rule of her religious parents.
By yesterday morning, as the controversy blew up, the official Strongman Games announcing Booker's disqualification. Quote, "It appears that an athlete who is biologically male and who now identifies as female competed in the women's open category. Strongman officials were unaware of this fact ahead of the competition, and we have been urgently investigating since being informed. An attempt has been made to contact the competitor involved, but a response has not been received." The statement continuing, quote, "Had we been aware or had this been declared at any point before or during the competition, this athlete would not have been permitted to compete in the women's open category. We are clear. Competitors can only compete in the category for the biological sex recorded at birth." And with the disqualification official, actual woman Andrea Thompson is restored to her rightful place as World's Strongest Woman 2025. Sanity prevails.
Today we continue a time-honored American tradition. Well, that's a well-trained turkey. See how happy he is. In a few moments, I will grant a full, absolute, and unconditional presidential pardon to 2 handsome Thanksgiving turkeys.
President Trump officially pardoning turkeys Gobble and Waddle from the Rose Garden yesterday. The quirky White House tradition of presidents appearing with turkeys dating back to Harry Truman, with the official turkey pardon formalized by President George H.W. Bush in 1989. President Trump beginning the ceremony with an unexpected announcement.
I want to make an important announcement because you remember last year, after a thorough and very rigorous investigation by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House counsel's office, into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined, that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid. They're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year have been located, and they were on their way to be processed, in other words, to be killed. But I have stopped that journey, and I am officially pardoning them, and they will not be served for Thanksgiving dinner. We saved them in the nick of time.
Gobble and Waddle's names chosen via a social media poll. President Trump, however, had a different idea.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those 2 people. I wouldn't pardon them.
The president reserving some jokes for Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, too.
We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. So Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. We're going to make your place so safe. You're not going to have these crimes that are making the newspapers and the front page of every newspaper and television story, news story. We'll make Chicago a safe place very quickly. And I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker and size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
Pritzker has called President Trump an insecure, demented, unhinged, wannabe dictator, so don't feel too sorry for him. I thought the joke was going to be that Gobble and Waddle were Pritzker's favorite pastimes, but Trump did it better. So, happy Thanksgiving from President Trump and from all of us here at AM Update. Hope you have a great one. That'll do it for your AM Update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the MK Show live on SiriusXM's The Megyn Kelly Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.